Welcome to Delvin's room. And a very interesting conversation happened on the Joe Budden podcast, right? I wish Mark Lamont Hill was for this episode, but he wasn't there. They were speaking on this energy shift that's going on where Black Americans are taking control of our identity, right? And it was a good conversation, right? And for a lot of people, like you seen Flip, who's Caribbean, a lot of people don't seem to understand where this is coming from, right? At first he said he didn't understand where it's coming from. Why is Joe Budden, why is Joe Budden feeling such a need to have his Black American pride right now? And it's for a lot of reasons, bro. It's for a lot of reasons. And I'm glad that Black American people with higher platforms are starting to speak up now, because it's becoming necessary. It's becoming very, very necessary. You have to become more vocal now. That's why I love what Beyonce is doing. And I love that it's making a lot of people uncomfortable with Beyonce embracing being a Black American. You feel me? Like, the last album was very American, coming from a Black person, and it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable, right? They've been on Beyonce about this, right? And for a lot of us Black Americans, we know why this has to happen right now. You feel me? It can't wait. You feel me? And they spoke about the Casa Knot situation, right? And that situation was the more I think about it, that situation was very problematic. You know what I'm saying? When you have this 21-year-old famous screamer going on his huge platform telling people that Black Americans don't have a culture, you're just American, or whatever he tried to say is nothing special about you. That was a problem. You feel me? And I don't know if he apologized or whatever. It don't even matter if he did. He said that, right? And the reason that's a big problem with him in particular, Casa Knot was only 21 when he said that, right? The problem with that is that's coming from an older voice. Somebody told him that. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody older that has taught him to think that way. Because he's too young to even formulate that yet, to say that Black Americans don't have culture. You're only 21. You can't even really have that opinion yet. You can't form that opinion because you haven't lived enough life, right? So that lets you know someone in his household, someone in his community has been feeding him that, right? So that's a problem. That's a problem, right? So it's good to hear, Joe Budden speak up on that. I don't know if Ish is Black American or I thought he was British. But he said something about, because Joe Budden said he could trace his family back to the 1700s. He sees like the grave sites and everything. Ish was like, well, a lot of people can't do that. The fuck we can? A lot of us can do that. Like, if you Black American, like, I trace my family. I'm not talking about no DNA. I'm talking about lineage. People you can, like, pictures of, trace that back to the 1600s, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, bro. Like, names of family members. So, no. If you Black American, it's a great chance that you can trace your family genealogy back. You know what I'm saying? For, like, a long time. Some of us 1600s, some of us 1700s, but definitely to the 1800s, right? But nonetheless, you had Casa Knot, a 21-year-old screamer who has fans that's probably young as 8 years old, and he's relaying that message to them. You know what I'm saying? So that is a problem. You feel me? So we have to counteract that. You feel me? When you have people that big, saying ignorant stuff like that, right? And the fact that he's so young and he said that, it just made me think about this situation that happened with me before, where I was cool with a Haitian dude. Me and him was real cool, and I didn't start to notice it till later, but he had a very bad. He was very prejudiced against Black Americans, right? It started to come out later and later, and that's why we fell off, right? But yeah, so I remember one day I went with him to a tire shop, and he went to this Haitian tire shop, and you know, he was talking about, and I just didn't pick up on it at the time because we were so young. I just didn't see it as a thing. He was like how Americans are lazy and you know, they barely want to work and stuff like that. And I just didn't pick up on it. That's where he came from, right? But here's the interesting part about that, right? The older Haitian dude checked him about it that day. I always remember that older Haitian dude that actually had issues. That generation probably had more issues. That older generation of Caribbeans, Haitians, Jamaicans, he came to the defense of Black America. He was like, nah, cut that shit out, bro. You know what I'm saying? We cool. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? He checked them about that shit. And it was so funny to watch that, thinking about that now, because the person that actually went through the assimilation to becoming American versus the person who's been here 3 generations talking about who's lazy and who's not, it was very interesting to see him check that. And that brings me to the point that a lot of the older, you know, Caribbeans, Africans, a lot of times, a lot of them have more respect for Black American culture than the newer ones. The ones that didn't go through nothing. You feel me? If you went to school probably in the 2000s and stuff like that, nobody was bothering you because you was a Haitian or African or nothing like that. Not like it was back then. So to see that happen in real time was interesting, right? And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of this is stemming from that Essence Festival, right? Where it was just completely trash, right? People felt the way about it. It was complete trash, right? And you seen the Africanizing of the Essence Fest, right? Where you had such disrespect. When you had Joe Law versus Jambalaya, just to do that in New Orleans is so disrespectful. It was so disrespectful, right? Because the Essence Fest was started by 5 or 4 Black American men in the late 60s, popped off in the 70s, and you know, it was a super successful brand for Black Americans, right? Especially Black American women. And in that, I believe it was like in the 80s and in the 90s, a lady was the CEO. She kind of ran it for a while. Like she was she controlled a lot. And she was actually Caribbean, right? So what changed? You know what I'm saying? With the older Caribbeans and Africans, they had a lot more respect for Black American culture. You see what I'm saying? Like, she didn't try to change things. Yeah, she's Caribbean. This is what I'm trying to say about Black Americans. We accept Africans and Caribbeans. We don't have no problem with Africans and Caribbeans. We respect, but it's a respect thing. And when she was there, I believe, what's her name, Susan Taylor, if I'm not mistaken. When she was there, she respected. You feel me? And she was Caribbean, but she respected Black America. But now you have this newer generation that's like just hell bent on erasing Black American culture, and that's why you're starting to see such a pushback from Black Americans. And now you're starting to see a lot of Black American celebrities speak out. The biggest one being Beyonce. You feel me? She's giving that pride for being Black American. Joe Budden just spoke on it now. I seen Cameron and they spoke on it at one point in time. It's just a lot of people speaking up right now, and it has to be done right now. And I'm glad they're doing it. Shit, don't wait. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait, because yeah, it's an energy shift going on, and it can't go no further. When we have certain traditions that's being disrespected, and we not doing that to them where they're from, yeah, it has to be spoke on. You feel me? I think the Essence Fest really blew it open, but yeah, you just have to respect others' cultures, and it was a shame that Kasha said that, but I'm glad that many Black American celebrities are stepping up and, you know what I'm saying, cutting that out. It's your man Delvin. Like, comment, subscribe. To the next one.